Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday, everyone's least favorite day of the week. I am pretty confident in saying that. If you are not one of those people that agrees, please let me know right now in the comments, and I will probably just put you in timeout for the rest of the stream because you must not be a human. Just playing. Hope everybody's having a good day, though. We've got a couple things to talk about here. First and foremost, we've got some things to talk about regarding Litecoin. Big old scandal happened today. Very disappointed, especially because of the way it played out. Now, fake news gets spread, right? And of course, it's disappointing, but it's really annoying when it also comes from the source, and they could have done something about it to prevent it. I'm sure a lot of people got burned today, especially those that are not quite as confident with their trading and probably didn't play it the right way. As in, you know, this is a major run-up. You should probably be keeping an eye on your account and don't close it out until your position's closed out. So there's probably some people that got liquidated. There's probably some others that just lost up to half of their account today. Very disappointing regardless. And we'll talk about that. And then we've also got some other things to talk about regarding Bitcoin, ADA, Dogecoin, and the move that we're having right now. So let me go ahead. I'll read some of your comments here, and then I'll share the screen, and we'll get right into the use. So first and foremost, what's up, Artful with the first, back on top. Yes, sir. It's been a while. I know the streams have been a little later, but this is for those that needed a bit of an earlier stream. Hope you enjoy. And no problem. What's up, Rick, Skydive, Crypto Visions? What's going on? Thanks again for the support. Daniel Blaine, what's going on? And Preezy, what's going on, my man? A lot of y'all swinging the wrenches. Like to see it. Cool. So I'll go ahead, share screen, guys, and let's start getting right into some of these topics of conversation here. All right, so here we go. Don't forget, guys, before we get started, so that we can have a really, really good, solid stream today. Hopefully we can get a lot of viewers, especially at this time. The one thing you can do to directly contribute to this is by clicking the like button. I hate asking, but it is the only thing that works. Blame YouTube. That's how they set up the algorithm. If you click like, it tells other people to come to the stream. So please click that button. If you have not, it only takes a second of your time, and let's get rolling. Cool. So right now we're looking at the Cardano, we're looking at Bitcoin's chart here. And of course, the other altcoins are going to be following this to an extent. What I want to do first thing, I'm going to do a quick TA here. Then I want to talk about the Litecoin situation, but then I want to quickly come back because this is pretty important. Very quick TA. This is the drop off from 53,000 that we had, the major crash down to 43. Then we had some spikes, some fails, overall downtrending. And then we had this major move from the Litecoin situation today, a major dump off after it was proven to be bad news. But that dump off actually hit our support, our low support price, the lowest one that we have. And that caused a lot of people to buy that dip. And it kind of accelerated the slow move that was already happening. And now we're starting to see a recovery bounce. So this could, and I'm just going to say this now, this could potentially be a good time to buy in, especially if you're looking at something like Dogecoin that has not moved yet. As you can see, Bitcoin's up already. It's in the green. ADA's up a little higher. It's in the green because it sold off pretty hard. Dogecoin is still the one lagging here behind a little bit. So if you're looking for a potential entry on Doge, you are still at a good value, regardless of what happens next. We could dip down to 22, down to 21. I don't have any problems with Dogecoin 23. Obviously, I would, with pretty much all of my trades, I always recommend if you are anything less than 100% confident that you are buying at the absolute bottom, you should probably be scaling in. All right. You should probably be scaling in. If you are, for some reason, anti-scaling in at that moment, please start to assess why that might be. And there is a high probability that the reason why you don't want to scale in, just to be honest, is because of greed. That is usually what it is. You want to start seeing yourself in the greed immediately, and you want to see a big number. If you are patient and really believe you're buying in at a good value, but you want to play it smart, you won't have any problems starting off with small profit, knowing it will turn into large profit in just a couple minutes when you can add more once you get confirmation. So anyway, won't stay on that topic too long. Let's bounce around to the next part. Let's see. Shuba, what's going on? Doge Scotland, what's going on, man? And thank you for all the support on Twitter. I see you on there liking stuff and retweeting. I do appreciate that. Also, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead. Follow me now at 2020 Tech Reviews. I am active on Twitter. All right. Uncle Rick, nice. What's up, Jonathan? Preeti says, I'm getting fatigued, ready to pull, so I know a run is coming. Exactly. That's usually how it goes. The whales do their exact thing they want with the manipulation, get people to start selling so that they can get enough selling pressure to buy into without, that will also get their orders filled properly. Please slap that like button, guys. Yes, Crypto Visions, I do like that terminology. Slap the like button, smack it, do what you need to do, make it turn red. I don't care. All right, now what I want to talk about, guys, is what in the world happened here. So as you can see, we had a bit of I made some changes to my stream earlier. Let's start fixing this back. All right, maybe I'll just drop this here. So what you can see here was an absolutely massive move that we had here today from Bitcoin, all the way from 44,000. And this is just on the 3-minute time frame. Let's take it down to the 1 for perspective here, and let's go back to that. Just an insane move of over $2,000, $2,500, all the way up to 47,000, followed by the fastest sell-off of all time, all the way down, not just to 44,700, but down to 43,900, and then it continued after the bounce down to 43,400. So a $2,000 run up followed by a $3,500 sell off. Absolutely insane. So what in the world happened here? In case you are not aware, what ended up happening was news spread on Twitter that Walmart was going to be, that they made an announcement that they were accepting Litecoin as a method of payment for all of their e-commerce. So that means you go to walmart.com, you can check out using Litecoin, and it's, that's insanely good news, because that just says in itself, in a nutshell, Walmart's now accepting cryptocurrency as payment. Litecoin's the one they're starting with, and it's online only for now, but it's going to be coming in store soon. That's what that announcement said. Okay, so what we ended up seeing was, they already started correcting course. I'm trying to find one of the articles that could still be up, but it looks like people are being diligent and taking down their news. So what ended up happening was Litecoin absolutely ripped. As you can imagine, they were the ones getting accepted as payment. Absolutely ripped off of this news. And Litecoin went all the way up from $175 at the time, straight up to $235. Now, obviously, no one knew that this news was false news at the time, and so people were just buying into this, as they should have been. And what made it even worse, guys, and this is the part that really bothers me and why I called it a scandal, like in the thumbnail and whatnot, is because Litecoin actually retweeted the tweet. And so now we had that news coming from Litecoin's official Twitter account. That's really, really, really dirty and messed up, in my opinion, and whoever's in charge of their social media should probably get let go. Because you just can't do that kind of stuff. Anytime you're spreading any kind of information, especially if it could be price manipulating, extremely important information like that, it should always be verified, double checked, and people are going to trust anything coming from the company's mouth about their company is going to be accurate and not fake news. So why in the world is Litecoin going ahead on their official Twitter account and letting people know by a retweet or by post that they're being accepted as payment for Walmart without any confirmation on that information? And so next thing you know, Litecoin, they deleted the tweet, and then it became well known that that was actually completely fake information. Walmart actually responded and let everybody know that that's false news. So that's why we saw the major run up, and then we saw the insane sell off to follow. I'm actually quite surprised that Litecoin didn't sell off harder, because here's what usually happens, and this is what we saw with Bitcoin. Whenever people feel like they're holding a bit of a bag, they're usually waiting and holding that bag for an opportunity for the price to run up and then them sell and get out at a higher price. And their whole goal is to hold until they see a good opportunity to exit. So that means you may have had a lot of bag holders here that are holding as the price just has kind of been just trending down, especially after it came from 413, which is where the high was before Bitcoin crashed. And you get this, you had a chance to sell here, right? But maybe you didn't take it last week, and now it's all the way down from where it was at 230 back down to 180, and now you're holding the bag. A lot of bag holders from here. Here was your other chance to sell and get out. I'm surprised that off the sell-off, we didn't see what happened with Bitcoin, which is because of the bag holders looking to get out that were comfortable here, but this is their exit. Now we have less people wanting to hold, and I would have expected the price to end up down here, down to 150. I'm surprised that Litecoin stabilized right where it came from and hasn't dumped further. Now, the example of what I'm talking about is if you look at Bitcoin's chart here, and you can see what I'm talking about. People holding the bag, hoping it goes up. They get a massive run up, a good sell opportunity, and then they keep selling off. And the pressure from selling and taking profit finally ends up making the price go even lower than it started. That's what I would have expected. Litecoin held its own. Cool. But, you know, that was just really, really frustrating and bad news. But anyway, if you're like me, you know, as soon as you saw that announcement, you probably bought into Bitcoin, ADA, Litecoin, whatever was running, and you took some profit up here. So I made a good amount of money today off the run up, and thankfully I did not greed, and I said, you know what, this amount is sufficient. I don't care what happens next. I'm getting a little overextended here, so I'm going to close, because after that happened, I took my profit and I closed my app and I started making a video that I was going to upload on the Litecoin news. And while I was uploading it, the rumor spread that it was false. The new information spread that was just a rumor, and the price dumped immediately, and I would have been like liquidated or just, you know, completely messed up at that point if I was not looking. So my trading, you know, comfortably learning to take profit and not being greedy kept me from losing my whole account there off that sell-off. So props to me, you know, giving myself a pat on the back, because even as an experienced trader, we still suffer from the same stuff. We just get better at coping with it and dealing with it. So FOMO's still a thing and all that. But yeah, guys, don't forget, any questions you have, please go ahead, drop them in the comments so we can keep the stream flowing as I come to the end of my part here. Now, whoa. Pro the Doge was saying something there. I wanted to see that. Let's go find his account. About Floki. So just in case you don't know, Elon Musk also just got his Shiba Inu dog named Floki. And okay. Oh, he's just talking about that it pumped and dumped the Floki coin. Of course, they made a Floki Inu coin or whatever, and it pumped and then it dumped. So nothing new to report on there. So that's what happened with Litecoin. As you can see, though, what I wanted to talk about, though, is this Walmart idea. Even though it was fake news, what this ends up telling us, guys, is just how important, and this is what I've been saying for a long time. The biggest catalyst that us in this sector of the cryptocurrency space can get, and by that I mean the Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin space. So anybody in the retail-focused coin space, the biggest news we can get is a major retailer like Walmart or Amazon or Target or something like that accepting one of these cryptocurrencies as a method of payment. And the reason is because that shows that these guys are taking it seriously. And when they take it seriously, you're going to see those coins in that sector start to skyrocket, because that is insane news for crypto, right? And even though Litecoin, and there's two things I want to say here. Even though Litecoin was the one that got the announcement, it wasn't Bitcoin or Doge. It was only Litecoin. And you see how Litecoin took off and almost got near doubling there. Bitcoin also went up at the same rate. Well, why is that? It's because what I'm saying, that kind of information is good news for all of them, whether or not they are part of the announcement or not. If it's good news for Litecoin, it's good news for Bitcoin. And if it's good news for Bitcoin or Litecoin, it's also good news for Dogecoin, because these guys, even though they're different and separate entities, they are all trying to accomplish the same goal, and they're all trying to reach the same target to accomplish that goal, which is being understood and being accepted. And that was just the first sign of cryptocurrency being accepted on like a massive, massive scale. And that's why you saw the market immediately start to rally. All right. Second point is that Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. In case you didn't know, just like there's Ethereum Classic and now there's Ethereum, and then we're going to have, you know, whatever. Litecoin is a fork of Bitcoin. So Litecoin's actually very similar in the coding to Bitcoin. It's based off of it. And then Dogecoin is based off of Litecoin's code. which is based off of Bitcoin's code. So all three of them are actually extremely similar, just with some differences, mostly with like block size, transaction speed, transaction costs, and then some things as far as like the mining, and the Bitcoin has the halving event and all that stuff, whereas Dogecoin does not. So there are some differences, but overall they're based off the same code. So that's why we saw them all run up together as well, because they're kind of the same, but just a little different. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about the Litecoin situation. Unfortunate that it was false, and unfortunate that probably a lot of people lost and liquidated their accounts here if they weren't paying attention, but really good sign of what can happen if we get that kind of announcement and it's real, because this was only in a couple minutes. Imagine if that didn't get shut down, we would have probably rallied to 50,000 and beyond, maybe even started setting new highs. So good stuff there. Now what we can do is go ahead and roll into... let's take a look at the actual stock market today, since we're doing a market close stream here, and just see how some of the stocks did. I haven't done this in a while. Let's see, top gainers today. We'll sort by percentage change. Let's just see how everybody did today. All right, looks like Life was up 67%, pretty big run. And then some of these, I don't know the name. I'm trying to look to see if there's any that I'm familiar with that I used to see a lot when I was more into the stock market before I switched over to crypto. Manatech, I have heard up. MTX, good to see that. Good to see that up 16% today. Smile Direct Club SDC, did hear about that a lot. That's up 16%. Ocugen is up about 16 as well. A lot of common names running today. A lot of green. And this is good because, the stock market was in a bit of a situation. And we're seeing a lot of green, though, so that's good. Percentage change for the last 5 days, though. There's actually a lot of red here. So, get in there. Maybe not quite, but get in there. And after hours, Life is still running a bit. This is on pre-market. No, after hours, all right. Life is still running. Soleno, SLNO, up just a bit there. Dave and Buster's. That's weird. Okay. Snap on. All right, nothing too interesting. One thing I do want to talk about, though, is that people made note that Tesla was kind of dumping today. Now, it actually did a massive recovery, because when I saw it, it was down here at $700. But Tesla dumped pretty hard. My concern with Tesla, they are still the market leading company, right? They are still a market leading company, but they have competition now. So I am not nearly as bullish on Tesla as I was before. They've got a lot of work cut out for them in regards to staying on top of the market and continuing their dominance in the electric vehicle market. Now, thankfully, they are diversifying. We've got the Tesla Bot, and we've got, the Roadster. A lot of companies don't have a supercar that can compete, but that car is also not released yet. A little concerning, though, if you flip to like a 4-hour chart or something, start looking at the daily scenario, you might start to see a potential setup for a head and shoulders. So let's just hope after this 708 bounce that we don't get... actually, this would be an inverse, so this is fine. So basically what I'd like to see is maybe just another healthy pullback towards around the 730 level, and then we could maybe expect a continuation if we start to bounce from there. So Tesla looks fine, but another perspective to take a look at this from is that there was a sell-off from 760s all the way down to a little under 710, and then once we grab that touch near the 200 EMA there, massive rejection wick that cleared not just past the 200 EMA, but also way past the 100, and now we're back above the 50. So that was actually a really good dip buy opportunity, and hopefully no one panic sold there, because that would have been selling right at the bottom, and you would have missed out on $50 a share in the same day, and that'd be very unfortunate. So, do I think that Tom could be a catalyst? I know what you're talking about. You were just discussing that in the Discord group. But let me get to that in just a sec, because that is a good question. But to shortly answer your question, that answer would be yes. As we flip back here to the crypto side, which is where most of us here are more concerned, let's do a quick TA on Bitcoin, on Doge, on ADA, on all the guys we care about here. Now, basically what I had just said is still really important, and we've just got to take a look at this and keep it in perspective. So let's delete this line, and let's delete this line now. Let's delete this line. I got to get some of the irrelevant stuff off the screen, or else it just looks like a hot mess. All right, so I'm going to delete pretty much all of this. And guys, if you are trying to improve your charting, something I always say, keep your chart clean. Whenever there are levels that are mapped out, diagonal or horizontal, or indicators that you just don't need anymore because they're not relevant. Just get them off the screen and look at the candles. If you are good at TA, you technically don't even need to have anything drawn. These drawings are just to help you. They're like a notepad, right? You can make some notes, some mental notes, so that it's easier to remember, but they should not be crowding up your screen. I'm going to delete this too because it's no longer important. And I'm also going to delete these because I'll just redraw them because I want to make a point. All right, so that's pretty much everything. Now, what you can see here is my bottom level of support line that I drew here is now going to be in orange. And then what you see on the 4-hour time frame, which is probably the most important long-term time frame, it's one that a lot of like hedge funds and large time frame, large position size traders use, is the 4-hour. And I've got the 4-hour 200 EMA, 100 EMA, and 50 EMA here. 200's red, 100's like this greenish color, and the 50 is in blue. So what we can see here is after the Bitcoin crash, we made this bottom, this absolutely low bottom. Then what we ended up doing was bouncing up to 47, bouncing back down, made a higher low here. So this is the next level that we'd want to start taking note of. And then we started to consolidate, and our bounces, the lows ended up higher, and that's where you want to start to draw kind of that next level of support. Where were those next higher lows stopping at for the most part? As you can see, it was right here in this general area between 44.7 and 45. I'm just going to draw it conservatively there at 44.7 on the lowest wicks there. You can see 3 clean rejection touches off that. And then even we had the body of this candle try to close above it, so we could see that that was a level people were respecting. And then you can look here and see that that's where it showed as resistance as well. So very important spot, and people recognize that. Right around 44.750. So now what I've got is a level, an absolute bottom drawn at 43,500 here. A higher low here at 44, about 44.5, 44.4 right here. And then the highest low, short term, because you could go up here next, but I won't do that yet, is right here at about 40.47. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you already saw me talking about this, and I just want to kind of go back to this conversation that I had, I guess, with myself as I let everybody know what my thoughts were, and just discuss the way I was looking at this yesterday. So, right here, I said, just saying, and keep in mind, this is where we were at this point in time. All right, so we were sitting right here at about 45,000. I said, basic charting lines on the relevant time frame, which was the 4-hour. Beware of a fake dump below the obvious 44.7K level that whales may use, that whales may catch at the 44,500 secondary level that no one's looking at. And then I said, then there's obviously 44.2 and then the 43.5 low to consider as well. So basically we were sitting right here. All right. And this is the play I was saying to be aware of. If you start to draw a trend line on your diagonal supports here that we're starting to form, you could see some cross levels, and I'm going to color code these so that it's not all bunched up. And maybe this will just give a good point to why it's probably a good idea to follow me on Twitter. Because when I'm not streaming, I do try to talk on here a bit as much as I can. So beware of a fake dump below the obvious diagonal level right here, which was going to be the 44.7 level, and look for a potential catch by the whales as they do like a fake out, let it pass, but then catch it at 44.5. So first thing first was the dump right here. That ended up happening on this candle. We got a dump below 44,700, and the whales let it go, but then they bought it up at the 44.5 level. They bought it up from there and caused a reversal to happen. Then the next point I said after that was then there's also 44.2 and 43.5 to consider. So like still don't get faked out. What ended up happening? Next candle, bottom of it closed at 44.2. Right here, we got the bounce. And then today, which is when this started to happen here, is when we got the dip down to 43.5. So if you were paying attention and already knew these were the potential stopping points that I talked about, and so not to get faked out and think that we're going to just, go down for eternity and never ever stop, you would have known where these horizontal lines are the potential stopping points. And then once you get under that, then you have reason to be concerned. All right. And we thankfully today, off this unfortunate news, we did catch right here at the 40 or at the 43.5 and had a strong bounce up. So we have not ventured into any unfortunate territory. We did get a little peak down under 43.5 because we stopped at 43.470, but that was a rejection. And that's usually what you want to see, is it go just a little uncomfortably low and then everyone buy it up like crazy. So instead of when it passes below the support line, everyone's stop losses get triggered and they panic sell, you want to see everyone buy it. That's a bullish sign. And so massive rejection wick off of that overextension there. And now we're starting to see green candles, and it looks like we're also we're kind of rejecting what now became resistance of this trend line here, but we're trying to get back above it. If we can do that, that's very good, and then we can see a continuation to the upside. That being said, in my opinion, buying anywhere between like where we kind of are now and where we came from was kind of the dip buy opportunity. I still think we're in it. At this point, if I were not in ADA or not in Dogecoin or something like that, or not in Ethereum or not in Bitcoin, whatever you're trying to buy that's following Bitcoin's price action, I would be a little bit careful, because what I want to do is make sure that when I'm buying in, for example, here, technically this is kind of a top point because we're still showing resistance at the spot we're at right now. So what I don't want to happen is me buy in, and then since it's the top of this particular area, then we get the downtrend. I'm already in the red. I start feeling bad. I don't have any average down money anymore because I went in 100% here. So now at this point, I'm starting to panic, and I'm like, oh, do I need to sell? Anytime you're buying in at an extended point, even if it's on a short-term consideration, you should be scaling in and leaving yourself money to buy the dip if it continues to pull back some within reason. Now, if we start getting in here, that's when some panic should start to kick in, and you should be having an exit plan already that you're planning to follow. But this is kind of the safe zone. This is the dip zone, in my opinion. This would be ADA anywhere from like high 230s to about 245. Dogecoin anything in the 23 cent range. Ethereum right about where it is as well. And this is Bitcoin in between about 44 and 44.8. So I think we're right now in the dip zone. I am long right now. So I did go long. I do have some shares, some coins rather. I'm in ADA right now, but I am still not in 100%. I think at this point I'm in about 30, maybe 25%, 25, 30% max, because and I'm up right now, and I'm playing this. I've learned to play this very, 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 very carefully. I am up right now, I think only a couple $100, but I am not going to be adding to that position and bringing my average any higher until we get probably closer to 250, because I want to stay green. And my average right now, I bought most at 237, and then I added some more at 242. So now my average is about 240, and we're only 3 cents away from that. So if I'm going to add my position, I want to make sure I don't do it too soon, because then without any really bullish confirmation, I'm bringing my average up too close to where we are right now. Way too close to where we are right now. And if we get a pullback, I'm going to instantly be in the red. And then I'm going to start to, feel panic and, start considering panic sells. And that's just not what I want to do. So just so you get some insight into how I'm trading this. Now, I'm also trading on leverage. And I did make a lot of mistakes when I first started trading on leverage. And the key thing I've learned trading with large leveraged amount positions is to scale in and never, ever, ever, ever all in. Never. Even if you're 99% confident, scale in. If you're that confident, you can play it right and you know it's going to work out for you. Don't greed. And that really is just good news all around. It doesn't matter if you're leveraged or not. So there's that. If we flip over to ADA, let's just take a look at how it's doing today. ADA played out exactly how I did expect it to play out. So, it is what it is. It's a little unfortunate. I know for some that were kind of long from high. Maybe they were already all in and they didn't get to like average down or buy a dip or do whatever. But ADA, in my opinion, is doing just fine. It did exactly what should have been expected from it to do. And Actually, it actually followed my prediction as well. Here's what I predicted about ADA. Here's how it actually ended up playing out. My thoughts on ADA were that Bitcoin was the main thing holding it back from doing a nice big run up last week up to $3. And because Bitcoin kept trending down and kept being in the red, ADA got held back. I figured if ADA could have a green Bitcoin day to run free on, people might think that there was still some juice left in the tank, and we could have some time to run up and move a little further going into the early part of the weekend. But there would still be a new sell-off. And so on Saturday, what we ended up seeing, and let me just figure out what day is Saturday. Right here? Yeah, that's perfect. So this is exactly what happened. We were sitting down here in about the 240 range, but then Bitcoin flipped green and let ADA shine. Finally let it shine. A lot of people were probably thinking, man, we're getting close to this Alonzo update and we're really not even moving yet. Man, this is crazy. Well, then Bitcoin flipped green, and just like I thought it would, it let ADA shine, and it let people get the idea out of their head that it was too close to the event to buy because they start to see the price go up. So it's like, oh, obviously this isn't the news sell yet. Got to think this is how retail traders are trying to figure things out that don't know what they're doing yet. They hear buy the rumor, sell the news, but they're not experienced to know like when that's going to happen. What is it? Is this it? And so this gave retail traders some confidence here that, ooh, maybe there's going to be the run up here. After all, this isn't the new sell time, which it was not. So this was correct. And we saw a nice move all the way from 245 all the way up to 240 here, to 280 here on Saturday. Now, I went ahead, as soon as we hit 280 and started to pull back, I opened my phone. We were sitting somewhere around 274. I went ahead and sold. I would have loved to see ADA go to $3, but again, knowing what's happening, knowing we kind of got lucky here with this move and not being greedy, I had bought in at like 240, 250 maybe. That was a nice almost 30 cents. That's over 10% gain return on investment. That is great for one night. And so I was out. All right, then we saw it trade sideways here, and then a lot of greedy people that thought we were going to have a second run up, they got left in the dust, because then we did see kind of part one of the potential new sell-off. At least that's what people thought. So as soon as Bitcoin started to pull back and bring the markets down, everyone's like, ooh, this is the new sell-off, guys. Time to get out. And so what you saw was ADA absolutely dump faster than any of the other altcoins did at that time. And so Bitcoin wasn't falling this hard. Neither was Dogecoin, but ADA was, because everyone said, oh, this must be the new sell-off. Retail traders that have no idea what they're doing. So we did see a early new sell-off, but it was too early. And what this reminds me of is the same thing that happened on Dogecoin. When the whale started to dump on Saturday, everybody thought, oh, that must be the new sell-off. That's not how it happens. Usually the new sell-off is after the hype event is over. So we had a false new sell-off here. We then saw some consolidation. And then, just as I did mention, we did see another run-up because the hype part was not there yet. You've got to keep in mind, Sunday, the hype was around, smart contracts going live, and Charles Hoskinson was going to be, I probably butchered that, was going to be live on YouTube, talking it up, hyping it up, and everything. So people in the back of their heads are still thinking, well, during this live stream, there could potentially be some hype around it again that will make the price go up. So what can you expect? Well, after this first sell-off, there will probably be another run-up coming up to the YouTube event, but then followed by the real new sell-off after it's all said and done. And that's what we saw. The pre-event run-up again. The real, right back up, gave everybody a second chance to sell 280, and then the actual dump. The actual dump was quite magnificent, and we went all the way down, all the way from 280 down to 231. So insane sell-off. And now what I expect next is to see an insane run back up, and even greater of a run up than the one we saw. I'm expecting ADA this week to start gaining some more ground, especially this week into next week. And, as soon as we start hearing some news about DeFi apps and smart contracts going live on the network and running successfully, I think that ADA is just going to start snowballing like crazy, and we're going to see ADA above $3 and maybe even heading towards $3.50. Literally by the end of next week, I think we could be there. I think this week we could, as long as Bitcoin's not doing anything very unfortunate, really messing us up again, I think we could easily be towards $3 by the end of this week. I'm very bullish on ADA, and the nice thing is there's not much else to be bullish on. There's no reason to be bullish on Dogecoin right now. There's no reason to be bullish on Litecoin at this particular moment. There's no reason to be super bullish on Ethereum at this moment because they don't have any announcements, which makes it easier for people to decide what they want to invest in. And usually you just go to whatever has catalysts, and that's what you're going to be the most bullish on. It is still Cardano's moment to shine, and I think we're about to see a massive, massive run up. Now, something worth noting here as well, and let me just delete these lines here, if it'll let me. Webull, por favor. Let's see. Webull's really finicky with the lines sometimes. All right. It only lets me do it on the higher time frame where I drew them. That doesn't make any sense. So if you start to look at this from a shorter term perspective, what we can see here is a perfect setup for a full reversal back to where we came from. This is the textbook reversal setup that I'm always talking about. It's the two-step sell-off followed by the two-step reversal. And what do I mean by that? Let's get the poly line out here. Where we came from to where it stopped the first time, where it consolidates, that's the first step right here, this L, and then the next step down to here. And then you get the bowl at the bottom to where it does this thing where it broadens and then it narrows, and then it heads up, it breaks above the previous resistances, and it takes off like an absolute rocket, and it reverses back to the first leg, and then back to where it came from. And then from there, it can decide if it wants to do another pullback or if it wants to keep going to infinity and beyond. All right, this is the perfect reversal setup right here that is starting to form. And it's a very similar concept to like an inverse head and shoulders where you get the first pullback and then the deeper one. And then everyone gets comfortable with the concept that that's the bottom. And then they buy it back up and you get the reversal. That's exactly what's starting to form here. And this is just following primarily Bitcoin's price action. So let's take a look at Bitcoin and see if we're getting some similar activity. You can see it's not quite as clean, but you do have the same idea on Bitcoin here where we came down, we did the bowl, we even got the chance to test the bottom level of support and go below it and make sure we didn't want to go any further. Everyone got comfortable, and now everyone's starting to buy back up, buy. And now what we're going to see is once we pass a certain level that everyone thinks is resistance, we're going to start to see some breakout momentum and head back towards 46,000 and most likely even higher than that. That's what we've got shaping up here. At this moment in time, I am bullish on Bitcoin. That's why I've already started going long and getting a position brewing, and I'm ready to add to that position as soon as we start getting some confirmation of the move up here, and I'm just going to play it smart. So any thoughts on that, please ask. Now, Reza, you were talking about Tom being a potential catalyst. Let me go ahead and pull up what you said. And please, guys, don't forget, click the like button if you haven't, and then also drop any questions if you've got any at all. Sorry, I'm struggling to find your question, but basically any kind of news, guys, this is what I always say to keep it super simple. Bitcoin, its whole purpose is it is anti-inflationary money. It is a very highly deflationary store of value. It's the same way where in the past, primarily people would, if they had a lot of money, they would buy up gold because they knew that gold was a deflationary asset. And it was better to hold something like gold, a precious material that increases in value over time as the resource becomes more scarce and more rare. It was better to hold gold than to keep all your money in fiat currency, which it's pretty much infinite. It gets produced as people want it to be produced, and then it drives the value of it down because there's no scarcity to it. And so Bitcoin being digital gold, it is always Bitcoin's catalyst when inflation is really bad with the US dollar because it just makes an even better point for Bitcoin. So it is always going to be a Bitcoin catalyst for a bad inflationary report for the US dollar. So if there is one today, like you're saying, There you go. The report that comes out tomorrow at 8:30 signaling inflation or not. It is very, very highly likely that that inflation report is going to be bad for the US dollar, and it is going to sound bad, and there's going to be a lot of inflation because there's been a lot of money being printed recently. You know, keeping in mind all the stimulus checks and then the bills that are being created right now and all that stuff. A lot of money being printed and created. It's probably going to be a very bad result. It's probably going to make Bitcoin move up. Now, how much Bitcoin's going to move up, I don't quite know. Some of that you would say or think may have been already factored into the price, but based off the current price trending, I don't see it. So I think there's still room for Bitcoin to move up a couple $1,000s or something, 1,000 to a couple thousand, which will give us a nice little move on our coins of choice because most of us here aren't buying direct into Bitcoin. We're buying the alts. So that's where we are. Let's see. Chosen One, what's going on, man? I am on early today. Wanted to do more of a market close stream. Yeah, 30 minutes late. We started at 4. Yeah, but glad you're here, man. The first part of the stream, we were just talking about the Litecoin scam, which isn't too important. Yeah, the dip. Yeah, got to buy that dip, man. And here's the thing. We'll be at 30 cents really soon, 35, 40 cents looking back, just like we were the first time. Remember when just not long ago we were at 16 cents, and then about 3 weeks ago we were at 30 something, and we're like, man, wish I could have bought low 20s or in the teens. We are back at low 20s, guys. What we can never, ever do, and it doesn't make sense to do, is keep saying, I wish I could do something, and then we get the opportunity again, and then we don't do it. And I mean, how many times can we do the same thing over and over again and not correct course? So, you know, if we're getting dips and they're at the prices that you say, man, I wish I could have bought here. If you get another chance, why are you not buying the dip? So I hear you on that one. And I'm making sure this time, because I missed ADA like 3 times following, you know, doing that myself. I was like, man, I wish I could have bought under 250. I wish I could have bought 220s, 230s. But each time it dipped, I'd panic and get, you know, emotion. And, you know, I do take a step back and not let that linger for too long. But first reaction was kind of panic and like, oh, well, what if it goes lower? What if it goes 210? What if it goes 2? What if it goes 190? Can't keep thinking like that. Look for your signals. Look for it to stabilize. Scale in if you're uncomfortable. That way you'll expose yourself to low risk if it does continue to go down, and you can sell at a very small loss, but then just add to it if it goes up. And that's what I'm doing right now here. Things look bullish. I'm not 100%, but I feel pretty good. So I went ahead, started scaling in, added some more here, and then once we start breaking out, I'll probably add some more, and then I'm just going to leave it alone and wait, and then decide, you know, what am I going to do later on. Right. You've been waiting for to buy more Doge for the past 2 months almost. Finally got our chance. We finally got it, guys. We are back. We are at Dogecoin 23 cents. All right. I hate saying this and then coming back later and saying about the time I said this, right? But if you have not averaged down, why not? If you are not buying more Doge right now and you've been waiting for an opportunity to buy more Doge, why are you not buying it when Dogecoin's at 23 cents? And we haven't done this in a while, so let's flip to the Dogecoin chart just for a moment here and take a look at why I'm saying this. Where was Dogecoin just recently? All right, well, before Bitcoin did its nasty fall off from 52,000, Dogecoin was right here at 32 cents. At that point, everyone was probably panicking out of their mind, thinking we'd never see another Dogecoin dip again, and we were heading to 40s. Right before that, Dogecoin at 31. Right before that, Dogecoin at 30. Dogecoin was hanging out and comfortable for weeks up here above 25 cents. Now you finally get a dip to the 23s, and you're not buying any. I'm not saying go all in with your average down money, but you should. Dollar cost averaging means once you see an opportunity, you add some more. And then if you see an even better opportunity, you add some more. If you're not doing that, you're not doing something right. So whole purpose of this channel is not just to discuss my opinions on cryptocurrencies and which ones I like, because I'm about as new to crypto as a lot of you are, but I'm not new to trading. And so I give primarily trading advice, what good buy and sell opportunities look like based off what I know off of, with particular assets. So let's see, raise my average a little bit, but I'm still positive in profits. And that's the way it goes. You know, averaging in, it's not about getting the lowest possible average. It's about playing things the right way so that you end up trading, you end up in deep profit at some point. So doing that is perfect. And what I'm doing, the way I'm entering right now, I could have all-in'd ADA at 237, but I would be scared out of my mind if I went in full size at 237 all day, because now I'd have to be panicking, thinking, well, what if we get a pullback and we go to 236? What am I going to do? With me scaling in and keeping things in my comfort zone, I'm not panicked right now. If we pull back to 237, I've still got 75% of my portfolio to average down, or I could cut if I feel like it's too weak and just wait it out and look for another entry. Sorry, Jonathan, you did ask me and I skipped your comment. Sorry about that. Any thoughts on Algo? Algo, I think Algo is it's taking off. I know Matt had some concerns. I don't particularly have those same concerns. That's probably more of like a person by person opinion thing. Me personally, I'm just saying me personally, I don't feel the same concern about a potential like scam situation, but I do understand the perspective. But I think Algo has potential. It's not really something I will be investing in at this time. Not yet. I like to be, diversification is important. But my trading style is way more focused on usually one or two things at a time. Algo hasn't made that list for me. But I would not mind if I was just trying to invest. Algo would probably be something I'd take a look at, because people are trying to consider it as maybe a potential Cardano or Ethereum killer because of the competition that it could provide. So I'd be kind of bullish on Algo. I don't see any problems with it. I think it's a good model and a good concept. So yeah, no problems with Algo at all. It could probably run to like $3 or $4 at some point. I don't know when that is because I haven't looked at their roadmap or anything, but I don't have any problems with Algo. And from what I heard, they sound like a good project, like a competitive project. And, the more people that start talking about it, the more traction they'll gain. So yeah, bullish on Algo. It's not something I'm going to buy in for right now, but wouldn't have a problem buying into it. Something else I want to take a look at is ACH. ACH having quite the pullback, guys. And I am still bullish on ACH. Now, the thing is, it came from a really low point here at about 2 cents. There's still a lot of downside potential, but there's also a lot of upside potential. And we are actually doing very, very well, all things considered, on ACH, being that even with Bitcoin doing these nasty, terrifying pullbacks, ACH is not going below that 0.068 level of support. And right now it's 0.078. This is actually a pretty good time to buy ACH. And if I could buy it on the current brokerage I'm using, I probably would buy some here, because ACH has this tendency to do these, as you can see, just on the 4-hour time frame here, or the daily, whatever. Let's go to 4-hour. Do these deep pullbacks and then deep moves up. So from 8 to 13, down to 7.5, up to 12, down to 6.3, all the way up to 14 cents. And it just does deep swings, and I really like that. Now we've got a bit of a double bottom trying to form itself here right after the initial first touch, then another double bottom forming here at 7. This is actually, if I'm looking for a long opportunity, I think I would love to diversify into ACH right now, because it's just highly probable that this thing takes off, and your risk is relatively low because you can set your stop loss right here, right? Because the previous level of support was pretty obviously where these wicks stopped and then where these stopped, right at about 6.5, right there at about 6.5 or 6.4. That's only 1.5 cents down, but your reward potential is, possibly up to 10 cents, possibly up to even 15 cents. So you can almost 2x your money buying this dip. And I mean, maybe you can even just hold it long term and not sell it and hope that, by next year, this thing is like 20s, 30s, 40s or something. This is a very good opportunity in my opinion here. Now, I would be scared if Bitcoin doesn't hold this level, though, because that'll probably pull it down. But as long as Bitcoin holds, which it looks like it will, I think ACH is at a nice spot here for an entry. Very nice spot. I'm actually considering doing something with that information. Switching over to AMP. AMP's doing all right. Not doing quite as well as ACH, but it is holding its own right here at 5 cents. ACH, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I don't think it's going to dump much below 4 under any circumstance. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if this is my entry point per se, because you could see the scenario here, like we're curling to the bottom side. I don't usually like that, and the price trading action here has gotten weaker and heading down and getting weaker. I don't like the way that looks. I'd probably do ACH right now over AMP just because of that. But this is still, you know, if you're doing a long-term thing, 5 cents is right about that bottom. You've only got 1 more cent to go. So if I'm going to buy in and not look at my app for a couple weeks, I would probably do an amp play here. But like I said, I'm more of a day trader. I wouldn't want to wake up tomorrow and look at it if I bought right there. Thanks, I got in for a good price. Awesome. Sweet. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap up? Been live for about an hour. Hopefully I was able to address most things. Also, if you're new to the channel, please click subscribe. That really helps out. And I'd love to see you in the next stream. I did want to announce as well, I am planning on making some changes to the stream pretty soon. For one thing, I'd like to do more collabs and pick other people's brains a lot. I like kind of like intellectual discussion. And, you know, sometimes the comments are slow or whatever. It would be really nice to have someone else on stream with me a little more often, just kind of like we did with Matt, that is experienced and has some good opinions that we can also like pick their brains and see how they're thinking about things. So I'll be doing that a lot more coming. And then I'm also probably going to diversify the content a bit because I don't only come from a stock trading background. This channel was started, as you can probably tell by the name, in the technology space. And I've been trading for like 3-4 years, but I've been in the tech space since I was like 15, very actively. So that's coming up on 15 years. So I would love to get more into diversifying and talking about all the things I know about. So that could be technology, and then just reviews of other things that aren't just tech. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, that means not all live streams all the time, but I'll still be primarily doing my crypto, of course. I'm not going to be really toning that down, but I just want to add some more things that I actually have interest in. So vehicles and technology, some sort of reviews of those sorts is what I'm looking into. And we'll see how it plays out, but I'm excited about it. I've already got the camera equipment. I just haven't done it, so. Cool. All right, guys. Well, it looks like I may have answered all the questions for today. Good stuff. Good stream, keeping it to the point, I guess. So just a final wrap up on Dogecoin. What I'm expecting, Dogecoin is probably going to head up to 25 cents pretty comfortably as long as Bitcoin continues its move up. Dogecoin's set up to fall, which is my only concern. You can see the little bit of weakness here in this double bottom, this W that it formed here. It's still slanting to the downside a little bit and hasn't gotten back up to the break-even level. And this whole trend has just consistently been down with lower lows and everything. So Dogecoin hasn't been taking it too well. But we'll see what happens. Bitcoin is looking very good, though, like it wants to pull the market up. And as you can see with this figure here, I am relatively bullish. So that's a good sign. We just cleared 45,000, by the way. That's a good sign. As long as we can hold above it, I think we're about to see ADA and Doge start to pull up. Litecoin, on the other hand, even though it's not my investment, we will take a look at it. Actually recovering pretty nice and getting back to where it belongs. So that's good. Didn't take this hit too hard. But let's flip onto the ADA chart. And you can see ADA is just chilling, just waiting. But I've got the same perspective for ADA. I think we're really going to see a nice run up. Going towards the end of today into the rest of the week, ADA's got a lot of potential to make a big move. So I'm waiting on that, and I'm believing in that. And then we haven't looked at ETH yet, so I'll go ahead and take a look at ETH. Ethereum's doing actually very good, taking this recovery well, and it's just about as bullish as Bitcoin is, looking to get back up to like 3,500 and beyond. So good stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. What you need to be aware of is the most obvious thing I can say here, which is be aware of Bitcoin falling under the previous low. The previous swing low that we've already hit twice, which is 43.5. We don't want to go back down there. If we do, we could be falling down towards lower 40s, and that's going to be a whole nother topic of discussion, a whole nother stream. If we really pull back and go below the first warning sign, which is like under 44,000, that's when you should probably start getting concerned, start checking your Twitter, start being like, Mariano, what the heck's going on? Because that's your first warning sign, us getting just down in this area in the first place. All right, so you want to start planning already what you would do if that happens. But I'm just saying, overall, we do look positive, and we've got just a few levels to get past here before we can be fully on our way. And that's going to be mostly these EMAs right here around 46, 47. I already know that's a strong level. Shorter term, we've got some resistance towards the mid 45s here. So once we break above mid 45s, we should be pretty clear to head towards 47. That's our most likely stopping point right there at about 46.5, anywhere from 46.5 up to 47,000 flat. And we'll just have to regroup, see what happens, and see if we can break above 47. If we can get to 48, we're probably on a bull run to 50s. So feeling good. And we can see here Bitcoin is continuing to rally here. Great stuff. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it, I think, for today's stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. Don't forget, share this video with anyone that you think might have enjoyed it. It will be uploaded live, uploaded on the channel, just like all the live streams are. So you can watch it in probably about 30 minutes if you missed anything. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't. We'd love to see you in the next stream. So thanks, guys. Have a great